John Bussey, assistant managing editor of the Wall Street Journal, and Jeremy Page of the Wall Street Journal, live from London, are here to tell us a little about a fascinating story that has been developing for a few months now in China that resulted earlier today or sometime recently in the expulsion of Bo Xilai, a senior Communist Party official, formerly the head of the party in Chongqing. Am I getting all these facts
Chongqing,
right?
That's right.
So far, John Bussey, what is? I mean, there's a murder involved. It involved Bo Xilai's wife.
Yeah.
He was a pretender or one of those guys who could maybe rise to the very top of the Chinese Communist Party. Now
that's right.
He's on the way out.
That's
What's
right.
going on?
Well, Jeremy Page has been writing about this very closely and has been discovering one extraordinary thing after another. So Bo Xilai, the former kind of party boss for Chongqing, and an ascendant figure in China, already in high level in the party position, wants to get on the very top tier of the party, quite popular with his constituents in the Chongqing area, and something of a kind of a sort of a needle in the side of the party because he's very sort of outspoken. He's out there. He's campaigning essentially for this top position. His wife is now under the equivalent of arrest, detention for the alleged murder of this British businessman who had relations with Bo Xilai and his family.
Business relations.
Business relations, that's right. And the key thing here is that all this is happening very much out of the open. There's Xinhua announcing it today, the party mouthpiece, the Newswire. It's happening at a critical time for a transition of power in China. The party derives its power by showing the population that it's unified. The party knows what's best, knows what's best for you. And this is kind of airing the dirty laundry of the party, is showing kind of dysfunction within the party.
Let's go to Jeremy in London. Jeremy, if I am in China right now, do I know any of this that's going on? Is this out in the open in China? And does the man in the street even care what's going on at the upper echelons of the Communist Party? And
people now are aware of what's going on. Obviously, not everybody is interested in elite party politics, but certainly, a growing number of people are, especially amongst those people who are active online. One of the really interesting developments of the last few years in China has been this microblogging phenomenon where you have hundreds of millions of people, especially the young, especially the urban, the better educated, are swapping information over these things that work a bit like Twitter. And they have been all over this story. They've been exchanging information about it. And certainly they'll be circulating news of the official announcement today that Bo Xilai has been kicked out of the Central Committee of the party and that his wife is in custody and a suspect in this murder case.
Now, are there, years ago in these various communist regimes, I lived in the Soviet Union for a while. China, obviously, a very different place. But, once you get expelled from the party, you're kind of done. I mean, there's no place else to go. What can this guy, Bo Xilai, do next, John? Well,
you're really done. The question now, and I'd like to pose this to Jeremy. Jeremy, are we overstating kind of the significance of this in the context of a leadership change year in China, or do you think that China and the party elite will be able to metabolize these developments without there being any sort of disruption in leadership or the way that the people of China view the party?
Well, I think it's certainly very disruptive. As you pointed out earlier, Bo Xilai was a leading candidate for promotion to the top body later this year. He's now clearly out of the running. As you rightly say, once you've been expelled from the Politburo and the Central Committee, and it's been formally announced that you're under investigation, it's almost certain that you're going to be convicted, and it's very likely that he'll end up spending a long time in prison. We may never know how exactly he served that, but that's a separate question. But there's no question that his political career is completely over. But also people around him may have been severely damaged by this. People who supported him either for personal reasons or for strategic reasons or for ideological reasons. So it has huge impact on the leadership change. And what you'll see in the next few months is there has to be a realignment where people who were close to him will have to form new allegiances with other people. and the people who were opposing him from the start obviously feel they're in the ascendancy. They'll be trying to press home their advantage. But it doesn't mean that the people who opposed him have won absolutely and will be able to choose whoever they want to take new positions in the leadership come the fall. There'll just be there has to be a complete sort of reshuffling of the political dynamics over the next few months.
Thank you very much, Jeremy Page in London. Final question for you, John. An American watching this, will this have any impact on them whatsoever, or do many, many things have to happen for this to have serious disruptive impacts on China, the Chinese economy, and then naturally on Americans?
Yeah, I think more things need to happen, but any sort of degree of uncertainty in leadership and leadership decisions will be a negative for U.S. business, right? They want sort of a consistent
they want
leadership.
Smooth running.
Yeah, exactly. But this is happening at the very top. So the business relationships that are going on are kind of 2, 3, 4 tiers down from that.
Right. John Bussey, Wall Street Journal.